Hello lovely YouTubing people. So I'm back and I fell off the wagon again last week. It happens, what can I tell you? And I almost fell off the wagon again today, which is why the light's all a bit odd and I'm potentially a bit shiny because I'm sort of filming late in the day today because life. So I want to chat today about how to keep writing, because I've had a bit of a revelation myself, and I'm sure I've had this revelation before, and then I'm sure my brain kind of just blanks it out. So I thought I'd come to YouTube and chat about it in hopes that I never forget it again. Writing is a weird thing. It's a weird thing, isn't it? And whether you are writing full time, or working and writing, or juggling kids and writing, or juggling school and writing, actually finding that kind of impetus to keep going can sometimes be a bit hard. And I've kind of been there just kind of recently. I've had so much on, all to do with writing and kind of like a writer's business, but I've had so much on that the writing's kind of gone by the by. I've had so much admin to do, so much to sort out, and just all kinds of bits and pieces. And it makes me miserable when I don't write. It's one of those things that I need to do. And so I've been trying to think of the things that either help me to keep going or keep me on track, or kind of what I do with myself to get myself back on track when I've fallen off. So here we go. So one of the most recent things I've discovered about myself, again, I'm sure I've discovered it before and forgotten, I'm old, what can I tell you, is that I am at my happiest when I write, and I write more when I write regularly, if that makes sense. So I am not one of these people that is on the write everyday train. That's not how I would kind of work at it. I have a husband and kids and crazy families and dogs, and the weekends, unless I'm on serious deadline or there's something big, the weekends have to be for them. And well, they have to be for them and they have to be for me. They have to be for us. That's our time. But during the week, I'm sometimes juggling other things, and I've worked and written and had kids and written, and worked and had kids and written, and it can be a bit difficult. So one of those things that I always find is that I write more when I'm in a good writing routine, is when I don't have to think about it. When I break my own writing habits, that's when they are so much difficult to set back up again. Now, I was speaking at Bookfest at the weekend. We have a big writers community in and around the area where I live, and one of the closest cities to me is Portsmouth, sort of that way, and then Chichester that way. And Portsmouth do a big kind of writers' book event every year, and it runs for a couple of weeks, and there are lots of different activities and information sessions and classes and all kinds of things going on for writers in the local area. And I was invited down on Sunday last week to go and talk about author marketing, because it's kind of my baby, I suppose. And when I talk about author marketing, I tend to come at it from quite a mindful point of view, because we're writers. We don't have tons and tons of money to throw at things. We often don't have tons and tons of time to throw at things. And social media, which is the best form of free marketing out there, can take loads of our time if we let it. The business of social media and marketing can take over the writing, and that doesn't work because we're writers and we need to write. So along with lots of other things going on, I've been planning for the Bookfest weekend, and I was speaking twice when I was down there. Once about building an author platform, which goes around the book that I've written, and then once about kind of mindful author marketing and sort of free tips for author marketing. And I ended up chatting to a lot of writers after the event, and a lot of the writers, 80%, all had the same problem. They couldn't reach their audience. One of the writers that was there specifically kind of jumped to mind, and she come and kind of got me at the end. And she knew quite a lot about marketing. She came from the fashion industry, and she knew quite a lot about getting a small business off the ground and getting your name out there. But she said the biggest problem she was having at the moment was writing, was procrastination. She said she's got the whole book, she's got it all there in her mind, all rolling around, and she just can't get the time to get down and get it down. She, sits there and she can't make herself get in the chair. And I suppose there are a lot of easy answers that run around with that, aren't there? That there's if you want it, you'll do it, and you have to inspire yourself, and at the end of the day, writers have to sit down and get the work done, and and all those things are true. But we've all been there where we know we want to sit down and write, or I certainly have, and I can't seem to force myself to do it. I've got the ideas, it's there ready to go, but there's something, a resistance holding me back, where I've not done it, where I've fallen off of my writing habit wagon. And it kind of put me back to another YouTuber, actually, and I will tag that channel down underneath as well. For British residents out there, I'm a Bake Off lover, and a few years ago there was a series of Bake Off with Matt Reilly, and him and his wife have kind of started a YouTube channel, and I've been following them along for ages. And his wife is currently going through a sports kind of push. She's just had a baby, and she's trying to kind of get herself back to that level of fitness where she feels, kind of happy in herself again. And she said something on one of her last videos that really kind of resonated with me. And she's starting with the swimming first because it's a sport that she's comfortable with. And she was saying about how she'd gone back to an old swimming club where she knew the coach, and she was going to go and do that way. And after her first session, she said that one of the things that she hadn't realised was that she'd gotten so far away from a place of exercise that she couldn't even remember anymore how good it made her feel once she'd done it. All it was to her now was like a bind. And she went and did that first session, and she's like, something clicked in my brain. I totally kind of remembered how good exercise made her feel. And I think that's the same for our passions as well. We can get overtaken by life and work and responsibilities and our families and all those kinds of things. And we forget that our passions don't just need our time, they deserve our time. And our passions make us who we are, and they make us whole. And it's only when we kind of slip back into those habits that we realise how happy they make us, and how mentally fulfilled we feel, and how complete and whole as a human we feel. So I think that's one of the things for me that kind of sticks in. And it's like the lady at the publishing event at the weekend. I kind of said to her, and I hope she took some use out of it, maybe she didn't, but it always works for me. When you get yourself into a state like that and you can't get yourself down in the chair, even if you stand at the kitchen side with a notebook, write 10 words. Just 10. And if you can manage it, write 10 more. And kind of do that, get yourself into even if you have to really trick your brain, even if you have to stand in the garden or just type the words into your phone, or just say the words into your phone, just 10 words, just to get yourself over that hurdle. And so that's kind of one of the ways that, for me, that always works, getting me back in the chair. The other thing that works for me is realisation techniques. And it's a funny one, and it might sound a bit, woo-woo to some people, but it works for me. A realisation technique is where you take out one of your long-term goals and you kind of sit with it, turn it around in your brain, sort of talk about it in your mind, talk about it in the car when you're alone, and you talk about it as if it's actually happened, as if you are actually living it. And what that does is, that realisation technique, again, it tricks your brain, and your brain kind of almost works against your best interests sometimes. We have these, needs and desires inside, these things that we want to accomplish and achieve. And somewhere between our soul and our brain is resistance. And I think Stephen Pressfield, and I've said this before as well about Stephen Pressfield, said there is the life that we live and the life that we want to live. And that thing in the middle that stops us getting there is resistance. And a part of that resistance is our own psyche, is our own feelings of being worthy, are our own feelings of self-doubt, are our own feelings of imposter syndrome in all aspects, not just for writers. And realization techniques help you to imagine you're already living those dreams. Realization techniques also help you to kind of get hold of that resistance and beat it back. So that's another thing that you can kind of try. The other thing you could try is you could get yourself an accountability buddy. You could get yourself someone who is going to hold you accountable when you don't write. And the best person to do that is another writer. Find another writer that also wants to be held accountable. And the idea is that you keep each other afloat. And the idea with someone keeping you accountable is not that they beat you to death when you don't do it, but it is someone that is supporting of you that says, okay, you didn't do it today, write it off, start again tomorrow, but tomorrow we need some words, tomorrow we need some numbers. And the idea is that that person kind of makes you accountable for yourself and for your own dreams. Because the thing is, unless we've got publishing deals with deadlines, you know, keeping us on track, the only person that can keep us motivated is ourself. The only person that can keep us striving for our dreams is ourself. And when we've got lots of other responsibilities floating around, that can be really hard to do. So those are my thoughts. Some of them are potentially a little bit hippie, but I don't mind, about keeping yourself writing and keeping yourself on track. And from me, I have definitely got stuck in the admin cycle just recently. I've got stuck in all the jobs that need doing. And I forgot somewhere along the line that one of the most important of those jobs is the writing, because I am a writer. But I'm kind of back in the editorial mode at the moment. As of yesterday, I'm back doing some heavy editorial. And that's another good way to kind of get you back into writing, because sometimes when you've fallen off the wagon, it's easier to edit words that you've already got, and you find yourself tucking a few more words in. Those words all count. They're your 10 words. Finish the paragraph, get to the end of the chapter, keep writing. If you're editing something that's finished, start a sequel, jot notes down on the side, anything that you can feel that will keep you going. So that is my random Friday evening waffle. I hope that you are all getting the words down, and if you're not, let me know in the comments below and I will waggle my pom-poms for you. I shall see you all next week, Reilly folks. Bye bye.